Once again, welcome to the show. I'm Arba Kumsin. Now, they've been called opportunist, biased, and referred to in many uncomplimentary terms. But it appears chiefs in the country who endorse politicians or flag bearers couldn't be bothered with the backlash and criticism. The phenomenon has been widely criticized, and variously chiefs have been cautioned against engaging in partisan politics, specifically endorsing politicians. In fact, Article 276, Clause 1 of the 1992 Constitution states that a chief shall not take part in active party politics, and any chief wishing to do so and seeking election to Parliament shall abdicate his stool or skin. But they continue to defy the calls as the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Nana Akufo-Addo, continues his campaign tour of the 3 regions of the north. Some chiefs have been openly endorsing him. Let's first listen to Chief of Boku Naba Asigri Abu Brago II.
According to Chief, when His Excellency John Mama visited him, he dressed similarly as he has, and then there was a handkerchief, and people allege that that is the journalists. They allege that he had taken the white handkerchief and taken the NDC. So, and that was the speculation, and which is not true. Right now, the way he has dressed is the same way he was dressed when the president came. He doesn't need to talk so long, but he's praying that God's willing, you will get what you want and become the president of Israel. And you become the president of Ghana.
So a very bold declaration there by the Boku Naba. Well, it didn't end there. Whilst in the Boku area, Nana Akufo-Addo also received another endorsement from the chief of Garu, Naba Asurgu Winnie, who declared his support for the NPP flag bearer in this year's elections.
Satya, he gave me a plea with other chiefs that our problem was a district. And as President Kufuor told him, let me win and you will get your districts. And it was done. So NPP says it will be done, it must be done. Thanks even to our Excellency President Kufuor for giving us that district. And our plea today is that if God, by the grace of God and his ancestors, will follow you, and when elected as a president of Ghana, these are our problems here. One, Garu is a very large area covering the Tempani, the 2 districts. We have no hospital. We were promised. It was said that we are going to get a hospital. And that hospital, we only heard, even from news. We don't see it, did not see it.
So clearly, this is a phenomenon that will be most likely be seeing a lot of as the December 7 elections draw near. It remains to be seen, however, if their endorsements would translate into votes for the parties involved. But let's stay a while longer on the NPP flag bearer, Nana Akufo-Addo, because he's continuing his campaign tour of the northern region. Joy News correspondent Martina Bugri joins us on the line with details. Martina, bring us up to speed on Nana Addo's activities today.
Nana Addo visited the chief of Janga this morning. He also visited the chief of DRE, and also he also visited some other chiefs in the area. At Janga, the chief appealed to Nana Addo to come to their aid when he becomes the president. He says that their health center is in a deplorable state and they would need help. He also talks of their schools. In the area, he says schools are in a deplorable state, and if he should win elections, he should remember them. So Nana Addo told him that they should vote for Bawumia. They should vote for Dr. Bawumia, because he is their own. And if he becomes the vice presidential candidate, he will fight their cause. Dr. Bawumia on his part catalogued some of the policies the MPP introduced during their term, like the NHIS, the free maternal care, and said that if the MPP should return into power again, they would do better than they did before. He also visited the Nasia chief, who appealed to Nanado that when he comes into power, he should help them with their irrigation system because they have a large water body passing through their community. And so they believe that if the irrigation system is developed, it will go a long way in helping the community. He made a whistle stop at Yari and he's expected at Saviliku where he addressed a rally.
Now, Martina, you mentioned Dr. Bawumia and his proposal of $1 million to each constituency has become a huge talking point. What are people in the areas where you visit, what are they saying in reaction to this?
We spoke to some of them and they say that the MPP has always delivered on their campaign promises, and so they believe that when they come into power, policies they are promising the people of Ghana, they'll be able to deliver.
Thank you very much. That's Northern Regional Correspondent Martina Bugri there. Well, it's not just the MPP flag bearer who's been talking as the party takes its campaign to the north. Running mate Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, as you hear, there has been quite vocal too. In fact, he's been making some promises like the party flag bearer as they join forces to campaign. You recall the party's flag bearer promising to build a factory in every district and a dam in every village. Now, his running mate says the party, if elected into power, will allocate $1 million to each constituency as part of its poverty alleviation program. Listen.
We are coming out with a new policy. The NDC is very bereft of ideas, and they are saying we are making promises all over the place. There's one thing we are going to promise. We are going to bring in place a new policy framework that is going to lead to the eradication of poverty in this country. We are coming up with what we call the Infrastructure for Poverty Eradication Program. With this program, every constituency in Ghana is going to benefit. We are going to put resources at the disposal of the rural communities and the poorest communities in every constituency. In the capital budget of the country, this year, for example, we are going to be spending $1.6 billion on capital expenditures. Our new program of infrastructure for poverty eradication is going to take $275 million from that capital expenditure budget. We are going to give every constituency out of this existing budget. It's not new money. It's the existing budget we are going to allocate to our priorities. Every constituency in Ghana, every year from this program will get the equivalent of $1 million to spend on priority infrastructure, every constituency. And you can use this $1 million a year to deal with the problems of the constituency in the rural areas and the deprived areas. You can provide your people with toilets, you can provide your people with dams, you can provide your people with different facilities, schools, and so on. It is up to the local people to decide what their problems are and what that $1 million is going to be used for. So if you think your problem is a dam dam, you will use some 10,000 out of that to build a dam for a particular village. So we are going to bring the resources to the rural communities, to the deprived communities, so that everybody will get the benefit of development. So we are going to focus on rural development, on the poor, and after 4 years of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, every constituency getting $4 million from this, you will see the growth in each and the poverty alleviation in each. So, asked you, where are you going to get the money? We'll tell them the money is already there. We are not going to steal the money. We are not going to steal the money. We are going to use the money for the people. So $1 million equivalent of capital expenditure for every constituency, 275 constituencies, and we are going to focus on the poor and the problems of the poor.
So Dr. Bawumia there, and he's come under criticism by some who are skeptical about the feasibility of this latest promise. Let's get on the line and speak to George Che-Bafo. He's a local governance expert and he joins us with some perspective. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Che-Bafo.
Good afternoon.
So the MPP running mate says this is a new infrastructure program for poverty eradication they intend to implement if they are elected. So $1 million is allocated to each constituency to improve rural infrastructure. Is this far-fetched?
Yeah, thank you very much, and greetings to your cherished listeners. I think that as a strong advocate of decentralization and rural development, I am for this kind of policy initiative. $1 million to 275, each of the 275 constituencies. So $275 million within a year can do a lot to alleviate poverty and to bring about rural development. So I think that once it's dovetailed into decentralization and local government, and for that matter, local development, I think that it's a good initiative, it's a laudable idea, and I'm for it.
Now, given the concerns about our rising debt stock, how do you think that the party can finance it? Is it even feasible, given that we have a huge debt stock?
Well, the question to ask is, how did we get to where we are?
But we are there already. So the question is, how are we going to fund this? This is 275 constituencies, $1 million to each constituency. That's $275 million. Where are we going to get that money from?
Yes. So let's ask them. But before 2010, Ghana did not have oil. And when the economy was rebuilt, we had about 14% growth rate. By the end of 2008, without oil, we had 8.4% growth rate, the highest in Africa at the time. So the potential, what it means is that the potentials are there. Between 2010 and 2015, we have had about $4 billion of oil proceeds, oil revenue. So if we decide that we are going to, apportion the oil revenue on a yearly basis, what it means is that we have $800 million of oil proceeds coming into the economy. You get it? And so if we are going to take $275 million out of the $800 million oil proceeds, I think that it's a peanut, and we'll be able to finance a massive development, activity. And that is to say that it depends on the prioritization of development activities by the government in power. If government decides that it will forego certain ostentatious expenditure, and for that matter, we want to focus on rural development and to bring up the rural economy, to check rural-urban migration, and to ensure that the rural economies are developed, I believe that it is possible and the resources could be available.
How different do you think that this will be from the allocations already made to the other districts in the various constituencies?
Well, I think that you mean the District Assembly's Common Fund.
Exactly.
Yes, the Constitution, Article 252, enjoins government to set aside 5% of the total revenues of Ghana for development. And in 2005, President Kufuor increased it to 7.5%. The challenge with this kind of disbursement is that central government does not release the funds timeously. Sometimes they go into areas of about 4 years, 4 quarters, a whole year, not a person is released. And when the monies are released, government interference in the disbursement is also a major problem. Sometimes as much as 60% of the total revenue supposed to go into the districts from the DSTF are utilized by central government. That is where the problem is. So what I'm saying is that it depends on the government empowers prioritization of development. If government decides that the entire Assembly Common Fund is going to be released to assemblies for development without any central government interference, it will heighten the rate of development in the rural areas. Look at the challenges of environmental sanitation management. Look at the challenges of microeconomic development. Look at the challenges of unemployment in the rural communities and the massive rural-urban drift. I believe that added revenue to the district assemblies to be able to provide development will ensure, rapid socio-economic development in our rural community.
Very much, and that's a local governance expert, George Cheba, for there. Many thanks for your time. You're watching Election Brief, and still ahead, police at Bekwai in the Ashanti region say they're taking steps to avert any unpleasant situations arising from the defacing of an NDC billboard by unidentified persons. Details in a short while. Now, police at Bekwai in the Ashanti region say they are taking steps to avert any unpleasant situations arising from the defacing of an NDC billboard by unidentified persons. The destruction of the campaign materials has angered the leadership of the ruling party, the governing party, amid concerns about security. District Police Commander ASP Edward Obeng Boateng tells Love FM's Erastus Asare Donko that efforts are underway to prevent any breach of the peace.
This issue came to our notice last week. I've taken the pain to speak with the Honorable MCE. I also called Honorable Joe Wise on phone, spoke with him. I've also had a word with the NDC chair so that each and everyone will take absolute control of his people and support to avert any problem here. As far as all these leaders have been talked to, and they've also spoken with their leaders, killing of or the defacing of the billboard, I don't think will result in any problem as far as the security is concerned.
But is this something you want to consider, perhaps finding the perpetrators?
It will be very difficult to point a finger at anybody. The point is that the thing has been defaced and we have to find a solution to it. It can be fixed, and the crime just cannot go and deface somebody's billboard, remove posters and so on and so forth. No. If you do that and we get to the law, we deal with it.
Well, the MPP founding member, George A.C. Boateng, and his NDC colleague, Nana Ishmael Butler, have called for political tolerance to stop defacing of posters and other criminal electoral offences. First, let's hear Mr. A.C. Boateng.
It's an offense under the electoral laws, just like destroying election material. It's a crime. As I condemn it in total, I would advise supporters of all political parties. But it's not only in Bekwai. It's go to Aswansi, it happens there. Go to other areas, it happens there. To tolerate each other. People must begin to realize that politics has come to stay. There is no stronghold for any other party in this country. We have a Republican constitution, and that gives everybody the right to reside everywhere in this country. Likewise, gives everybody the right to campaign anywhere in this country. And that campaign brings up with what? Flyers, banners, people living in the community, whom sometimes you know very well. So when you report them to the police, the mother and everyone, but it's a crime. You spend money to do all these things, and somebody deface it, destroy it, and all.
You're welcome back. Now, they have described their campaign as a low-key one, devoid of the mini rallies that have come to be associated with political parties during the heated campaign season. But the Convention People's Party says, despite their absence from the scene, the electorate are embracing their message of the Apam Fufro campaign. The CPP presidential candidate last Tuesday extended his Apam Fufro campaign tour to the Tano South and North constituencies in the Bono Ahafo region. At mini rallies held at Bechem and Dema in the Tano South constituency, Ivor Kobina Green Street outdoored the party's parliamentary candidate, Dixon Adai Mununkum, who is a farmer and a businessman, as a candidate for the 2016 elections. In his speech, he said that all these years in Ghana, we have natural resources, but nothing impactful has been made for the people in the area. We can go on the lines now. We are joined by Kobina Bonfair, who is a member of the CPP flag bearers campaign team. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Araba.
And how's your Apam Fufro campaign going?
Well, we are pushing on gradually, and with the help of our IT, we are pushing through and getting Ghanaians to appreciate and understand that the change that Ghanaians should expect or want or work for is a change that will get His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the NDC off. That would also seek to bring the Convention People's Party and Ivor Kobina Green Street under the new covenant deal into office to make a departure from what we have seen under the 24 years of Republican dispensation of NDC and MPP put together.
Tell us, what is this new covenant that you speak of? Give us details of this new covenant that you talk about.
It's very basic. A departure from the politics of deceit, politics of sales promises, politics of deception, politics of self-seeking, and politics of not responding to indeed the needs, aspirations, and the wishes of the people that the NDC and MPP have presented us over the years. You take their manifestos from 1992, and none of them can tell you that they have been able to meet even 10% of their manifesto pledges. And you hear them run each other down with, failed promises from voluminous documents, most of which, are prepared just to lure Ghanaians.
So the CPP flag bearer is not making any promises to the people as he campaigns, is that it?
We are speaking to the views of the people, the needs, the aspirations, and the wishes of the people. For example, the people say that they have arable land that can cultivate hectares of, almond tree, which is commonly called apaponkate, and that have in excess of 2 million Ghanaian youth who can be galvanized, brought together to go into agriculture in this production. He is saying, yes, he will put government's resources there and make sure that, these things are done. Again, he is saying that every Ghanaian child will have a quota, a figure put on their head, not necessarily because they are just in school, but even after JHS, when after the basic school, they are unable to pursue further studies by way of whatever. If they are going into training, they are going into some handicraft, whatever they want to do in their lives, the state will put some resources and some quota on their heads that will make that they get, something that they can also, hold on to contribute to society.
All right, thank you very much. And that's Kobina Bonfair. He's a policy advisor of the Convention People's Party, bringing us up to date on the party flag bearers campaign on the Bono Ahafo tour. That's it for our show today. Join us same time tomorrow. I'm Arba Kumson. We have more news for you on The Pulse with Francis Aban.